So we're going to begin coming into sitting. And even though it's wet and it's rainy outside, we're going to really enjoy and nourish in our session this morning. So let the feet connect into the ground. Really feel that little toe side of the foot bringing you in and making a deeper connection in and connecting you back through your thighs. So when we sit and we collapse, it's often more comfortable on the thigh, but that's only temporary. Yeah, because when we sit with a little bit of alertness and we really connect into the feet, it takes us back around the thighs and brings us into the sacrum, and it gives us a firmer foundation. So from here, use that connection in. Keep the left hand onto the left knee and gently bring the right hand around by the bottom so the right fingers can point away from you. And when we do that, feel that the right arm wants to connect into the right ribs. There's a softening through the thighs, a letting go, in the sense because the big toe, the little toe, sorry, is supporting us. Yeah, so we've got that connection in. And then we're going to come back to the center. We're going to bring the right hand onto the right knee and gently bring that left hand around behind us so the left fingers point outwards. And then let's do that again either side. So the left hand comes onto the left knee, right hand comes around behind us. So it's a really open twist. And then we're coming back and we're bringing the right hand onto the right knee and we're taking the left hand around behind us. And then we're coming back into the center. Then from here, we're going to work through the head and the neck. My neck and my head and my shoulder is really giving me a lot of grief at the moment. So I'm doing a lot of work with that, which is always good because it passes that teaching on. So the left ear is coming down to the left shoulder. And then we're going to bring the right fingertips down into the ground. And as the right fingertips come into the ground, the hand is domed. It's like you've got an orange underneath the palm. And maybe we can connect a little bit more into the little finger and then into the middle and the index finger. And we feel the tailbone dropping down into the ground. Soften into that right shoulder. And as you soften, maybe you notice there's a few millimeters more movement. We're going to take the left hand and we're going to bring it onto the right ear. And we're not going to pull the head, but we're going to let the weight of the hand ease the head over a little bit more. Keep connecting down into the little toe. Good. Now we're going to bring that left hand, bring it onto the left knee, come up slowly through the head, take the right hand, bring it onto the end of the right shoulder joint, and we're going to gently circle into the elbow. And when you're doing this, really notice the little clicks, the tiny little movements that you might feel as you're doing it. We're going to start to bring the left hand out to the side. Now, the next time we come around, we're going to bring the right elbow slightly back, but then we're going to open out through the arms and then bring the arms slightly forward so it's in line with the right shoulder. Left hand's firm onto the ground. We're coming up and over, but it's that bend into the left arm that's going to take us over. So we don't need to bring the arm over. We want to bring the spine over. Yeah. So we're really bringing the left ribs together to open out through the right ribs. And then from here, we're going to come back up, but only back to the center. And you're going to take the back of the right hand and bring it to the outer left thigh, and then bring that left hand back a little bit. So you've got a real movement through the shoulder girdle. Good. Now come back to the center, bring the fingertips to the ground. Now we bring the right ear down to the right shoulder. This feels really hard for me this morning. Left fingertips come onto the ground. So when we go into the left fingertips, we can feel that more into the shoulder. When we bring the right ear to the right shoulder, we can feel that more into the neck. I'm laughing because this is so tight here this morning. Maybe one of you has it tight here as well. Keep connecting down into the little toes. Right hand comes up, rests onto the left ear, eases us over a little bit more. Now, even though the little toes are resting into the ground, soften into the inner thighs. There's still going to be an alertness in the thigh muscles, but what we don't want to make is it a tightness to keep us there, yeah? And just enjoy that opening through the neck. Soften into the shoulder. Breathing in and out. The more we can soften, even if it's just a millimeter, when we move a millimeter in the shoulders, it feels like we've moved a mile. Notice the breath. Really let the ground support you this morning. Good. Now gently bring that right hand down onto the ground. Come up slowly through the head and the neck. Good. You're going to bring your left hand to your left shoulder, and we're going to do that little circling through the elbow. And again, you're looking for all those tiny little movements that you feel when you do this. It's like when we rotate the ankles, yeah? Sometimes it's really nice to do a practice at home because you feel more at home, yeah? Now, as we come around, we bring the elbow slightly back because then we're there with the arm. Then we go out through the arm, but then we're going to bring the arm slightly forward. So the arm is always in line with the shoulder. But we want to keep the arm about here because we're bending into that right elbow, and that's what's going to move the spine. We're doing that because we're avoiding bringing the shoulder up. This feels really nice on the ribs, but there's a bit more pressure on the shoulder. So we're looking for that middle ground. And we're breathing in and out into the rib cage. Good. Now we're going to come up through the spine, and we're going to take the back of the left hand, bring it to the outside of the right thigh. If that feels too much first thing, you can always bring it to the left knee. Right hand comes back a little bit more behind us. Breathing in and out. Good. And we're going to come back to the center. Now we're going to come onto the balls of our feet. So if it's easier for you to bring yourself into all fours and come around that way, feel free to. But it's quite nice to come into it from a kneeling position. So you're really curling the toes under, walking the hands back and rolling back into the balls of the feet. Very often we want to stay on the toe joints, which brings us up really high. And we do use that in the squat pose. But for this morning, can you roll back a little bit more onto the back of the ball of the foot so it can release the heel away just for a moment, just to play with it. And then feel that the hips can rest down, the tailbone can lengthen down. Fingertips are light on the ground, really light touch. Now come up high onto the toe joints. So you lift the heels into the bottom and the knees come up really, really high. And then roll back through on towards the back of the ball of the foot. Keep extending back through the heel. Good. Big deep breath in. Come up onto the toe joints. Breathing out, releasing back and down through the ball of the foot. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. Big deep breath in. You're really lifting up. Breathing out and you're releasing down. Good. Now, when you're lifting up, notice, did you lift up from the top of the hip and the thigh? I'm obsessed with this at the moment. Sometimes we grip here in the hip and the thigh to move the foot. So keep coming back to the feet in the practice, because that's going to soften the rest of your body. Fingertips come lightly forward. Drop your heels down into the ground. Bring your feet a little bit wider. We want the feet at least hip distance, yeah? Heels connecting to the ground. See how much my knees are bent here? And I'm going to come onto the backs of the fingers. You can use the block underneath your fingers here, yeah? My heels connecting to the ground, my thighs lengthen up, my breastbone comes forward. And we're feeling the little toe and the big toe firm into the ground. Have a look at your ankles. Hopefully your ankles are lovely and open now. And then from here, bring your hands onto your shins and feel, it's very internal movement, but feel your shins want to go into your hands as you lengthen your breastbone forward. I've still got a good bend in my knees. Good. Now stand down into your feet, lift forward and up through your spine. And as you lift forward and up through your spine, catch hold of your middle of your right arm. Stand down into your left foot, ease over towards the left. Yeah. So your hips are staying still. We don't want to do that to ease us over. The hips stay still. Again, this is about moving the spine. And then we also can relax away through the shoulder. You can just see that little bit of space that made. Come back to the center. Right hand holds the middle of the left arm. And we stand down a little bit more into that right foot to bring us over. Keep relaxing that left arm away from the ear. Breathing in and out. Over we're going. Good. And now we're going to stand down into the left foot, and that's going to bring us back to the center. We're going to let the arms go and really let the arms swing here. Yeah. Doesn't matter, even if you just find your arms going all the way around. Yeah. It's almost like we're 8 again, and we're just like, yeah. And then we're going to do a little bit of that with the legs. So just like really shaking the legs out, really shaking the legs out. Maybe even just a little bit, just to feel that we can loosen everything up before we come to the front of the mat and we start to come into sun salutation. So let yourself stand now and notice how the body feels in standing. Feel that connection down deep into the ground. Let's take a big deep breath in, go out through the arms so you feel that opening into the ribs, tailbone is still releasing down. We're breathing out, we're coming forward and over. And as you come forward and over, can you feel that movement of the pelvis rolling over the thighs to shift the whole of the spine down to the ground? Bring the hands to the shins, come halfway up. Fingertips come back down. Big step back through your left foot into your lunge pose. Keep that left heel up. Drop the left knee down to the ground. Let's take a breath in, come up. Really stand down into that right foot. Breathing out, palms to the ground, straight back into dog pose. If we want to, one heel up and one heel down this morning. Elbows soften so upper arms can gather back into the shoulders and back into the ribs. Gently bend the knees, come back into child's pose and rest us into child's pose. Walk the hands forward, bring them wider. Round the spine, up into cat pose and come forward with the chest and with the heart into cobra. Keep moving forward through the spine. Curl the toes under, start to come back. Over the balls of the feet, up into downward dog pose. Breathing in and out. Gently bend your knees, yeah, with being forgiving of our hamstrings today. Left foot comes forward and stands down into the ground. Big deep breath in. Use the ball, use the heel of that left foot to bring you up. Soften into the top of the left thigh. Breathing out, fingertips are coming down. Steps you into forward bend. Hands onto your shins. Still have that feeling of bringing your shins into your hands. Fingertips come back down. Gorgeous big deep breath in. Be a little bit greedy with that breath this morning, yeah? Brings the hands together, the thumbs to the heart. Now, when we go into this sun salutation, your focus is going to be on your pelvis. So you feel the pelvis rolling over, hands to the shins. You feel your pelvis on top of your thighs. Fingertips back down. You're stepping back with your right foot into lunge pose. How does your pelvis feel now? Are you tightening in the left hip? Can you relax into the left hip? Let the left foot be a bit more firm onto the ground to give you the support. Right knee comes down to the ground. Can the right knee rest into the ground? Can we soften more into the hips? Big deep breath in. Up you come through the spine. As you're coming up, can we lose any sense of grip into the thigh? Fingertips come back down, palms to the ground, steps you back into dog pose. Breathing in and out. So the pelvis is a little bit like your forward bend now. Breathing in and out. Imagine that helium balloon underneath the pelvis, lifting you up and up and up, but also spreading you out in the sacrum at the back of the pelvis. Gently bend your knees and come back into child's pose. Rest you in child's. Walk the hands forward, bring them wider, round the spine, up into cat pose. Chest and heart come forward into cobra. How's the pelvis feel now? Can you feel you can lengthen the pelvis towards the ribs? Breathing in and out. Does that give you some more length into your hip flexors as well? Curl your toes under. Start to come back into all fours. Come forward now with your right foot. Feel that right foot firm into the ground so we can take it off of the thigh. Big deep breath in, up you come. Keep standing into that right foot so we don't use the right hip. Breathing out, fingertips come forward and over. Steps you into forward bend. Hands to your shins halfway up. Fingertips come back down. Nice big deep breath in. Be greedy with that breath this morning. Don't often hear the word greedy in a yoga practice. Hands together, thumbs to the heart. We're going to go again. Breathing in and coming up. Breathing out, forward and over. Stay down in Uttanasana. Step back with your left foot into lunge pose. You're staying in the lunge pose now. You're taking your right thumb and you're bringing it into that right hip and thigh socket. Not to push us down, but to give us more awareness, a little bit more feedback. Left hand is staying on the ground. Breastbone is lengthening forward, breathing in and out. What are you noticing about the hip now? See, there's a little bend in my back left knee. We're going to bring that left knee down to the ground. We're going to keep it behind the pelvis though. Go onto the front of the left foot. We're just going to linger here. Good. Now we're going to start to free up this right arm, but just watch that right hip. Sometimes it wants to ping straight up again. Big deep breath in, come up through the arm and come around and breathe out and bring the hand down. We're not going to linger in that pose because there can be a little bit of tension or pull with the ribs and the opposite hip. So curl your left toe under and step back with your right foot into your downward dog pose. Breathing in and out. Notice how that right hip feels now. Yeah? Bend the knees, come back into child's pose. Rest you into child's pose. Walk the hands forward, bring them wider. Round the spine, up into cat pose. And bring the chest and the heart forward, 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 forward. Keep that length into the spine. Feel the whole of the rib cage open. Breath is coming in and out. Curl the toes under, start to come back through the hips. Good. Feel the tailbone go back towards the wall. Roll over the balls of the feet. Think about how you use them in your squat pose. Breath is coming in and out. We're coming back down into all fours from here, yeah, because we're not going to do anything with the hamstrings just yet. Left foot is coming forward. You're curling your right toe under. You're coming up into your lunge pose. Your left thumb is coming into that hip and thigh socket. Right hand is on the ground. Breathing in and out. So the left hand doesn't pull or anything like that. It's settled. Right knee comes down to the ground. Keep it behind the pelvis. Come onto the front of the right foot. Really relax as much as you can into that left hip. Big deep breath in. Come up through the left arm and then bring the left hand around and straight down. Curl the right toes under, steps you into forward bend. Hands to your shins this time. How does the pelvis feel on the thighs? Fingertips back down, big deep breath in, strengthen your feet, lift your spine forward as you come up. Even if you feel you're going to fall over in your heels, lift the tiniest little bit, because then you're not going to push into your lower back. Bring your hands together and your thumbs to your heart. Let's go again. Breath comes in. Go a little more down into your heels. So now you feel that connection into the back of the body. Relax the buttocks. Breathing out, forward and over. You're coming straight back now with your right foot into lunge pose. This time, with that awareness in the hip, can you bring your hands together and lift your spine up? And notice if you're gripping in that left hip. Can you go down more into the heel, more into the ball of the foot? Good. A little bit of balance. Can we bring the right knee down to the ground? Take a breath in, come up more with the spine by standing down into the left foot and come up through the arms. Breathe. Feel the arms can really connect into the shoulders. Breathing out, hands come down to the ground. Let's step back into downward dog pose. Come back to that feeling of connecting the arms into the shoulders. Gently bend your knees, come back into child's pose, rest us into child's pose. Stay here for a breath in and out. And when you breathe out, really breathe out. Breathe out so much that you can imagine your body just sinking a little bit into the ground. And then we bring the hands forward and wider, and we start to come up through the spine. And then we're going to bring the chest and the heart forward. And we take a deep breath in now to really open us out through the ribs, to give us that cobra-like effect. But there's not a push in the spine to get that. It's coming from the breath. Curl the toes under. Start to come back first and then over the balls of the feet. So we've lost that push into the spine. Maybe there's enough give in the hamstrings now to come forward with the right foot. See how that feels. Soften into the right hip. Take a moment here, yeah? Hands come together. Spine begins to lift. Left knee comes down to the ground. Go out through the arms. Use that right heel to connect you back into the thigh to lift you up. Breath is coming in and out. Breathing out, hands come down to the ground. Step into your forward bend. Bring your hands onto your shins. Really feel your pelvis on top of your thighs. Fingertips are coming back down. Big deep breath in. Up we come. And we breathe. And we bring our hands together and our thumbs to our heart. Keep the knees so that they're hip distance apart. We're going to send the thighs forward. So technically we're bending the knee, but very often when we bend the knee, and you'll have heard me say this before, we do that, yeah? And we lose what's going on in the ankles. So we want to go forward through the knee and the thigh, and you'll still feel it's a different, stronger connection into the feet. We're coming up through the arms like we did in that last low warrior. And we're feeling the arm connect strongly into the shoulder, like the right arm wants to go into the left ribs and the left arm wants to go into the right ribs. There's this real sense of gathering in, yeah? We're in the ball, we're in the heel, so we can relax the buttocks because we're going to let all our weight go down into our right foot. We're going to bring our hands out, and as we do that, we're going to lift our left knee, bring our left ankle onto our right thigh and come down. Now, if that doesn't work for you today, you can do tree pose, you can stay in Uttanasana, chair stroke fierce pose. Here, the tailbone is releasing down. It's spreading out like peacock feathers, yeah? All of this movement coming out. Good. Now we're going to start to come up through this left leg, yeah? So I'm just going to whiz round, kind of. And then we're going to lift this thigh up. We're coming up, we're bringing it around and back, yeah? So we're coming into warrior two legs, but we're actually going for a different pose. We've got a good bend into this knee and into working with this thigh. So we're going to bring the right hand down to the inside of the right foot. That's not accessible. Lower arm onto upper thigh. Yeah. Now, in an ideal world, I'd like this thigh to be parallel to the ground. That's me in my practice, yeah? And that really is the teaching. So I'm going to go more forward through the foot or back through the back foot to come down, okay? Back of the left hand comes onto the sacrum. This pose brings in a bind. We're not going to do the bind, but what we're going to focus on is opening through the left side. So we bring the left hand to the sacrum, and I'd like you to feel that you can open out through the left side of the body. So it's as though you're bringing the spine, the back of the spine, to rest against a wall. So it becomes quite strong on the hip, on the right hip. Breathing in and out. It's an incredible pose, though, for first thing in the morning. Can you connect down more into that left little toe? And I don't know about you, but I can really hear the rain belting down, which always makes me feel a little bit better when we haven't practiced outdoors. Now stand into your feet and come up with your spine into warrior two. So you're going to be in a really long warrior two now. Notice if we grip. Trust the feet. Really go into the feet. Trust them. You'll feel the thighs want to move away from each other. Yeah, and you're going to feel the strength that brings you into the thighs. Now bring the hands together and bring the right foot in, okay? You're going to bring your right heel in and you're going to bring your left heel in. Now we're going to bend the knees. If this is too wide for you, feel free to bring it in more. We're going to bend the knees. We're sending the knees out into the direction of the two middle toes. Now we become really aware of our sit bones. Same arms as Uttanasana, chair stroke fierce. Connecting in to lift the heart. Connecting in to lift the heart. Okay? Tailbone releases downwards, so we lose any push into the back. Now we're going to breathe out. We're going to bring the hands around, one on top of each other in front of the pelvis, makes a little bowl. Relax the inside of the pelvis. Soften the inside of the pelvis. Go down into the heels, gather the thighs up. Good. Bring the balls in. Brilliant. Bring the right foot back to where it was and bring the hands onto the sacrum. Lift the left heel. Good. If there's enough room to, bring the left heel into the ground. If not, step the left foot forward. Breath comes in, go out through the arms like that low warrior pose, and we connect into the arms. Yep, so the arms are like here. Really, really coming in, standing down, firm into that right foot. And when you go really firm into the right foot, I'm going to see if I can bring this a bit more to life. Yeah. So when you go into the right foot, there's a little lift up through the spine because you're connecting more into the front of the right hip. Go out through the arms. We're going to finish as we started. Your left leg is coming up. You're standing down into your right foot. And your left ankle comes to rest onto the right thigh. Breathing in and out. Good. Bring that left foot onto the ground. Notice how much that right thigh's awake now, yeah? I feel like my right thigh's tingling away. Back up into Uttanasana, yeah? So arms come in. They're going out to the corners of the room. The knees come forward. The heel is firm on the ground. The big toe and the little toe and the ball of the foot is firm on the ground. We bring the hands together. We come up through the left. No, we come up through the right. And we bring the right ankle. I got so excited about my right thigh waking up. Right ankle onto left thigh. Breathing in and out. Breastbone is connected into the thumbs and lifting up into the thumbs. Tailbone is releasing down. Breathing in and out. Good. So now from here, we're bringing this right leg out. So we're going to come up and we're coming out. Now we want to bring this right leg back quite far because eventually we want to try and get this thigh parallel to the ground. Yeah. So maybe we go a little bit more forward and a little bit more back. See how it feels. Bring the back of the right hand to the sacrum. Let that shoulder rest into the spine. Left hand ideally down to the inside of the left foot. Once we get here, somehow it feels easier to broaden into it a little bit more. If that doesn't work for you, lower left arm onto left thigh. Now here we want to open out through that right side, and this is the tricky bit because we want to lean into it like this, but we've got to stand down into that left foot and open out through the right and really keep letting that right shoulder connect down into the spine, come forward through the heart. Breathe. Use the feet. So John Sturck, who's a very established teacher of Scaravelli yoga, he says, and I use it a lot, what is on the ground supports you. What isn't on the ground, what is on the air can release. So the feet support you. The rest of the body is looking for that softness, yeah? Stand down into your feet. Start to come up. Really use your feet here. Really try not to grip into the thigh. Good. Brings the hands together. Brings the left foot in. Bring the feet in a little bit more if you need to, yeah? We're going to bring the heels in. We're going to bend the knees. We're going to send the knees out. So we feel the thighs move out of the hips. And you can even do that because it just takes that sense of clenched bum moment away from it, yeah? Out through the arms, tail drops down, heart lifts, in your big toe, in your little toe. These are real strengthening postures, but it's an inner strength. So it gives us that nourishment for the day. Hands come down in front of the pelvis and we relax the inside of the pelvis. Breathing in and out. Good. Now start to stand down into the feet to lift up through the thighs. Good. Bring the feet in. And then you're going to turn the left foot back out. Bring your hands together, your thumbs to your heart. Lift that back right heel. Spirals you around. Left knee bends. If you've got enough space to bring the right heel down, go for it. If not, bring the right heel forward. Stand firm into the feet. Up you come through the arms. Can you feel a connection? Connection from the feet into the diaphragm. The diaphragm somehow feels more lifted. Feel you can plant into that left foot a little bit more. Into that left big toe, into that left little toe. Arms are soft. Notice the breath. Sometimes it's just nice to take a moment in the pose. Good. Bring the hands down, bring the thumbs to the heart. Now you're coming up through your right leg now. We're coming back where we started. Right ankle to where the left knee and thigh meet, and we're coming down and into it. Breathing in and out. Tailbone is releasing away. Good. Now bring the foot down onto the ground. Take a big deep breath in, come up through the spine. And we're going to breathe out. We're going to come forward and over. Feel the pelvis really toppling forward and over. Palms to the ground. Can we step back into downward dog pose? And we're not going to make it a really long dog here, okay? We're going to do what I call a breathing dog. So at the moment, we should be on the ball of the foot. When we take a breath in, we're going to really lift lift up and go down into the top of the ball of the foot, more around the toe and the ball joints, and lift up a little bit higher, like we're coming up onto a tippy toe, and let the weight pour more into the hands. And then as we breathe out, we soften the knees. We feel we roll back more onto the back of the ball of the foot. We take a breath in, we lift up, and it's really like that helium balloon is letting us float up a little bit. We breathe out and we release down. We breathe in, we spread into the ball of the foot and we lift up. We breathe out and we release down. We're going to do one more of those. We breathe in and we lift up. We breathe out and we release down. Good. Now gently bend your knees and come back into your child's pose and rest into your child's pose. Lower arms connect down into the ground and come back to that sense of really breathing out. So when you breathe out, you're looking to breathe out the dusty corners in the bottom of the lungs, yeah? Like you're cleaning out underneath the sofa in the lungs. And then feel that lovely big new breath coming in. And then breathe out. And then take a big deep breath in again. And then breathe out. And then the next time when you start to take that big deep breath in, notice how you can feel the breath moving all the way down, even towards the sacrum. And then gently walk the hands back towards the knees and come up with the spine. Bring the hips over towards the right. Let the legs come forward. Good. So we come to sit into Dandasana, probably what I think is the hardest pose. We're going to take the right foot. We're going to work underneath actually the right knee. Let's go for the right knee first. So we're going to bring it up. We're going to bring that right leg out. And we're going to bring the right foot out so it comes into the middle of what would be our 90 degree, yeah? Your left hand's coming onto the ground, you're spreading into the ball of the foot, you're taking a breath in, you're coming up with the arm. But the thigh and the knee go straight up towards the ceiling. So we almost feel that thigh wants to come out of the hip and the thigh socket. Good. And then we're going to come down. Now, as we come down, this is where you're going to grab hold of the right foot. So you're going to go into your right heel, hold the ball of your right foot, let your right hip come down now, and you're going to go out and away through the leg. But we've still got to bend into the knee, okay? We're going to take the leg across the body, and we're going to bring the right foot onto the ground, onto the other side of the left thigh. So we've done a lot of opening. We want to get the right big toe on the ground. If we're not getting the right big toe on the ground, you're going to bring the foot back. So then it comes in line with the right hip. Here, we want the right big toe on the ground because we want to stand down into the right foot. So the hands are going to come around the knees and we're going to lift up through the spine and we're going to really stand down into that right foot. Then from here, you're going to slide your left elbow around your right knee and your right hand's coming to the outer edge of your right hip, breathing in and out. So it's a strong twist through that shoulder girdle now. Now come back to the center. Let the right hand find the right knee. Left hand finds the right foot. You're going to bring the foot up. Now, I don't know how well you can see this on the screen, but my ankle bone is on my thigh. And I'm bringing my ankle back as far as I can towards my left groin, okay? So we start to come into a half lotus pose. Breathing in and out. Now, there's going to be a couple of things going on here. The weight of the right foot on the thigh gives a release into the right thigh, and there may be a little bit of pain, okay? Because the thigh tends to be tight. This is why we've done a lot of focus on the thighs. To bring the ankle bone into the thigh gives us a point of release. What we may find when we've practiced this a little bit more is that we can bring the heel really towards the front of the left side of the front of the pelvis. So then this releases the knee down. We then engage into the toes. So if you were to look at it from face down, it would look like this, okay? And then the toes would work to come around the outer edge. So see if that feels okay for you. It's a lot of work into the right ankle, but it's half lotus pose. You know, this is the ultimate pose, isn't it? Breathing in and out. And you can keep that right hand onto the right knee, especially if you use a lot of softener on your leggings, because maybe the leg wants to run away. Good. Take the foot away. Open out through the legs, so you've got that little bit of openness underneath the knee, and then bring the hand down, come back into Dandasana. Bring the hands so they go straight underneath the shoulders, and you come up through the spine, and you really feel the base onto the ground. This is a pose we often forget in yoga, yeah, because there's not a lot of glamour into it, but it's such a vital pose, and you can feel that vitality as well into the spine. Take a breath in, come up through the arms, breathing in and out. You can feel how strong you need to be in the spine to do this. Then come around. As you come around, bend the left knee, come underneath and hold the leg, and bring that leg in and out and in and out. Good. Now you're going to bring that left foot out 45 degrees into the ball of the foot. Right hand connects down into the ground. You spread into the ball of the foot and you come up. You're lifting the left hip. You're really leaning into that right hip and thigh. Left thigh wants to come out of the hip socket. And then you're going to come down. You're going to drop the heel into the ground, lift the ball of the foot, hold the ball of the foot, come up and out through the leg. Good. Then you're going to bring the leg over and you're going to bring that standing left foot down into the ground, into the other side of the right thigh, really into the big toe. Hands come around the knee, lifts you up through the spine. Base is on the ground. Really stand down into that left foot. Bring your right arm around your left knee and let your left hand come around by your bottom. Really feel that strong twist into your spine. So again, if you can't get the whole of the left foot on the ground, bring it to the inside, yeah? It comes back to the center. Left hand to left knee. Right hand to left foot lifts us up through the leg. We're changing the angle now. And maybe we might even want to go away a little bit through the hip. We can change the hand and then we can bring the foot in and we want to bring that ankle on to the right thigh. Now you can see with me, it's a very different dynamic on this side. This knee is much higher. On the right side, it was down here. So my focus needs to be on the rotation of my thigh rather than trying to push that knee down. So to do that, I'm going to do a little bit more in and out and in and out. And then I'm going to see if I can come in and up more. And then there's a little bit of a release down more. But it's harder on this side. We might have all found one side harder than the other. So we keep the left hand to the left knee and the right hand to the left foot. And I feel that I can gather in and keep that lift up through the spine. So again, I'm using the hands to support rather than feeling I need to tense in the thigh. I can let go in both of the thighs. Good. Now let your left hand hold your left big toe and come out and away through the leg to open the knee. Good. Bring the heel down to the ground. Bring the hands either side of the bottom and feel that lift up through the spine. Soften the shoulder blades down towards the hips. Maybe we feel now that the shoulders can hang away from the ears. Feel your sitting bones on the ground. Bring the fingertips out to the sides and very gently and slowly can you come in to sit into cross-legged, finding that little toe connecting you into the ground. Bring the backs of the hands onto the knees. Bring the index finger and the thumb together lightly. And notice how it feels for you to sit. Maybe it feels a little bit easier than it did at the start. Keep the lift up underneath the breastbone and the connection down into the little toes. And as you breathe in, feel the breath moving down towards the direction of the belly. And as you breathe out, feel the breath gently leave the body. Breathing in, notice the space you've made in the belly, underneath the ribs. As you breathe out, notice the movement of the ribs coming together. As you breathe in, notice the broadening out through the ribs, the opening of the torso. Does that move you softly into the shoulders? And as you breathe out, feel that there's a letting go, but it's not a collapsing. Breathing in, feel the openness. Feel the breath wants to move in every space it can find. And in the breathing out, is there a sense of letting go? Letting go of the weak. Maybe there's a sense of letting go of something more. So we can stay seated for a little bit longer. We can lay down. You can lay down on some pillows. You can have a blanket. Or you can stay sitting if you want to. This is the joy of practicing in your own home. So however you are, we're going to keep the awareness to the breath. And maybe each time we breathe, we notice a different part of the breath. We feel part of the breath more prominently. Whether it's the breath in the nose, the breath in the chest, the breath in the diaphragm. We might feel that every breath is different, because it is. Notice how the back of the body feels as you breathe. You're lying down. Can you let the back of the body soften into the ground? And if you're sitting up, can you be aware of the spine, of the freedom of movement in the back of the body you get when you're sitting? As you're breathing, gently scan through the body. Notice if there's any sense of gripping or a light tension anywhere, and if there is, let the breath out dispel that. So feel that you can breathe that tension out like a clearing. Keep coming back into the inhalation, back into the exhalation. So notice now how the body's feeling with the breath. And if you're not lying down, let yourself lie down. Let the awareness come to the outermost layer of the body, the skin. And feel that you can let the skin soften. Come in a little bit deeper to the muscle, to all of the muscles in the body. Feel you can let all of the muscles soften in the body. Come in a little bit deeper to the bones. Let the bones rest into the ground. Let them feel heavy, let them feel weighted. Bring the awareness into all of the organs. Digestion, respiratory, urinary, cardiovascular, all those big names. Feel the space that you've made for all your organs today. And then bring your awareness into your heart. And feel that heart space. And let your heart radiate out into your hands, down into your feet, and all the way up into your head. So you can fill your body with love. Feel it reach into your fingertips, down into your toe tips, and down into every strand of your hair. Notice how the body feels. Gently wiggle your fingers and your toes now to bring awareness into your body. And when you're ready to, let yourself roll over, come here, Oski, onto your right side. And gently bring yourself up to sit. And as you come to sit, bring your hands together, your thumbs to your heart. I thought it wouldn't be a practice without a dog this morning, so I brought in Oscar, who can now see the pigeons and doesn't want to sit still. So thank your body for its practice. Have yourselves the most loveliest of days, even though it may be a bit drizzly. Well done for getting here this morning. Sending you all lots of love and hopefully see you very soon. Namaste. Are you going to come say hello, Oscar, or not? No. Next door's cat as well. So I just give up on that. See you later, my love. Take care. Bye. Ooh.